Hello students, I am Dr. G.R. Jadhav, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, KTHM College, Nashik. Today we will learn the MSc Second Analytical Chemistry subject CHA 393, which are having 4 credits. That paper is consist of 2 sections. First section is analytical methods of food, which of 24 lectures, and for section second we have analytical methods of controlled substances. Today we will see the section 1. In the section 1, the first chapter, that is introduction of food analysis. Investigation in food science and technology, whether by the food industry, governmental agency or universities, often require determination of food composition and its characteristics. In addition, analysis is done of a problem sample and competitor sample. Generally what happens when any food sample in the market have some problem regarding to the composition or quality, when it is compared with the sample, same sample produced by the another industry, it checked or it analyzed. That sample is known as a competitor sample. The characteristics of the food, such as the chemical composition, physical properties, sensory properties, are used to answer the specific questions for regulatory purpose and typical quality control. So these all the food products requires analysis as a part of quality management program. The nature of the sample and the specific reason for the analysis commonly dictate the choice of the analytical method. Various factors, for example, precision, accuracy, rigidness, these are the statistical factors which will plays an important role during the analysis of this sample. So what is accuracy? Accuracy, it is nothing but the closeness between the measured value and the true value, while the precision means whenever we have performing the replicate determinations. What is the difference? That means how close that replicate measurement with respect to each other, we can call it as a precision. And rigidness means repeatability, or we can say the reproducibility of the results which we have getting is known as rigidness. So whenever we are performing the any analytical method, we have to validate the method. The validation of the method for the specific food matrix being analyzed is necessary to ensure that the usefulness of the method. Making an appropriate choice of analytical technique for a specific application requires a good knowledge of various techniques. For example, your choice of method to determine the salt content of potato chips would be different if it is for nutrition labeling than for quality control. Then the next topic is trends and demands. So there are in market trends and demands by consumer and by industry. So we can see first one is the by consumers. Consumers have many choices regarding their food supply. So they can be very selective about the products to be purchased. The demand They demand a wide variety of products that are of high quality, nutritious, and offer a good value. Also, the consumers are concerned about the safety of the foods, which has increased the testing of food for allergens, pesticide residues, and product from the genetic modification of the food materials. Many consumers are interested in relationship between diet and health. So They utilize the nutrient content and health claim information from the food label to make purchase choices. For example, the demand for food with lower fat content has challenged food scientists to develop food products that contain fat content claims. For example, free, low or reduce and contain health claim means certain health claim means what. For example, if you are considering the one of the oil industry will provide a vegetable oil which shows that can say that the oil is cholesterol free, or whenever we have using that oil, it doesn't deposit the cholesterol, or we can say they promote that particular oil for the various kinds of health claims. So the analytical methods to determine and characterize fat content provide the data necessary to justify these statements and claims. Likewise, there has been growing interest in the functional food that may provide health benefits beyond the basic nutrition. Then the next is, what are the trends and demands regarding to the food industry? To compete the marketplace, food companies must produce foods that meet the demands of consumer, as we have already discussed. So the analytical methods must applied across the entire food supply chain to achieve the desired final product quality. Companies increasingly rely on others to supply high quality and safe raw ingredients and packaging material. These specifications and associated tests target various chemical, physical and microbiological properties. Result of these analytical tests related to the predetermined specifications are delivered as a certificate of analysis. In some cases, the cost of good is linked directly to the composition as determined by the analytical test. For example, in the dairy field, butterfat content of butter tank raw milk determines how much money the milk producer is paid for the milk. Another example is, for flour, the protein content can determine the price and food application for the floor. So these examples pointed out that importance for accurate results from the analytical testing. Then the next topic is types of samples to be analyzed. So the chemical analysis of food is an important part of the quality assurance program in the food processing. From ingredients and raw material through processing to the finished products, chemical analysis also is important in formulating and developing new products, evaluating new processes for making food products, and identifying the source of problems with acceptable products. So while uh, selecting types of the sample, we have some critical questions arises, which are as follows. The first one is the raw material. Whenever we have considering any raw material, then there is a critical question arise, do they meet the specification what they have given regarding to the preparation or production of that food product? Do they meet required legal specification? Are they safe and authentic? While when considering the process control, so what is a process control? So in that, what happen, whenever the production of food components is there, at that time food compound is there or food product is there, at that time within the various steps the analysis of various intermediate step is done, that is known as a process control. So in the process control, did a specific processing steps results in the products of acceptable sample composition or characteristic, means what, they meet the specific composition or characteristic during that steps, during each step. Does a further processing step need to modify to obtain final product of acceptable quality? That critical questions comes under the process control. Then finished product. Does it meet the legal requirements? Means what? Whenever uh, we have a product, our product is in market, when we want to send that product in market, then what are the its legal requirements? Okay, that should be various kinds of legal requirements. That does it fulfills that legal requirements or not? That is the critical question regarding to the finished product. Then what is the nutritive value, so that the label information can be developed. So whenever the final product is getting, then there is a label should be mentioned regarding the regarding to the nutrient content or whatever composition, or the nutritive value, or the nutritive, or is the nutritive value as specified on the existing label. So the nutritive value at what we have there is maintained or not, we should have to mention, we should have to consider that critical questions. Does it meet the product claim requirements? That means if you have mentioned that the particular product is low fat, so according to legal guidelines, what is the definition of low fat, medium fat? So did does it meet the product claim what we have seen, what we have said there, it should be maintained. Will it be acceptable to the consumer? That is the question. Then what about the competitor sample? What are its composition and characteristics? How can we use the information to develop new products? Then, for the complaint sample, how do the composition and characteristics of the complaint sample submitted by the consumer differ from sample with no problem? Then, what are the steps involved in the analysis? So, in the steps, there are three steps involved in the analysis. First step is the select and prepare a sample. So, in analyzing food samples of the types described previously, all results depend on the obtaining a representative sample and converting the sample to form that can be analyzed. Neither of these is as easy as it sounds. Sampling is the initial point of identification. Analytical laboratories must keep the track of incoming sample and be able to store the analytical data from the analysis. This analytical information often is stored on the laboratory information management system, which is a computer based program. Then second one is the perform an assay. While performing an assay is the unique for each component or characteristics to be analyzed and may be unique to a specific type of food product. The description of various steps, procedure are meant to be overviews of the methods. For guidance in actually performing the assay, detail regarding the chemicals, reagents, apparatus and step-by-step instructions are found in the books and articles referred in each chapter. Also, it should be noted that numerous analytical methods utilize automated instrumentation, including autosampler and robotics, to speed the analysis. Then the next one is the calculate and interpret the result. Whenever we are performing the assay, then we have to use various statistical parameter. We have to apply the various statistical parameters to it, such as accuracy, precision, rigidness, robustness, specificity, selectivity. By using these parameters, we have to calculate the exact results and make a decision and take an action based on the result obtained from performing the assay that determine the composition or characteristics of the food product, and one must make the appropriate calculations to interpret the data correctly. Data handling includes important statistical principles. Then the next topic is choice and validity of the method. So it is depend upon the various factors. So first one is the characteristics of the method. So numerous methods often are available to assay food samples for a specific characteristic or component. To select or modify the method used to determine the chemical composition and characteristics of the food, one must be familiar with principle underlying the procedures and the critical steps. There are certain properties there are certain properties by which we have to describe the critical question arise during the food analysis. So the first property is selectivity or specificity. Selectivity is nothing but a property which being measured the same as the claim to be measured, and it is only property being measured. Okay, means what? Specificity means what? We have to measure only the analyte of interest from the given sample. Okay, so from that we can get a question that the critical question arises that are there any kind of interferences to determine that analyte of interest or the API. Okay, so that question will be arise. Also, what steps are being taken to ensure high degree of specificity? Means what? How one can reach the high degree of specificity or selectivity during that analysis? Means what? In between that we have some other steps are performed, either other steps means either chemical reactions or whatever. Then next characteristic properties is precision. So what is the precision of the method? Means what? How the closeness of the various measurements. What are the closeness between the replicate measurements? So is there within batch or batch to batch or day by day variation in the precision are occurred or not? We should uh, consider that questions. Then what step in the procedure contributes the greatest variability? Means what? In what step there is a difference, large difference in the measurements between the sample. Okay, that should be considered while using the precision. Then accuracy. How does the new method compare in accuracy to old or standard method? Then what is the percent recovery? Then the next is characteristic property, which is applicability of method to the laboratory. Means what are the factors which are occurred in the method to laboratory? So the first one is sample size. So how much sample is needed? Means what? It is in grams, kilograms. Okay, so that should be the associated with the sample size. Then is it too large or too small to fit the needs? Can you obtain representative sample? Suppose the sample size is very large. Suppose the size is about 1 kg, then how we can you take the representative sample that is from 1 gram or 5 gram? So that critical questions will be considered. Then what about the reagents? Reagents, can they can you properly prepare the reagents? This is the first question. Then are they stable? Are they stable? Or there are some reagents which are stable for some hours or some days. After that the reagents are not stable, and that's why we have to mention how long and under what conditions the reagents are stable. Then is the method is very sensitive to slight or moderate changes in the reagent? If there is a small change in the reagent is there, then what kind of changes occurred in the method? We should consider that. Then equipment, next characteristic property, equipment. So what equipment is needed? Then do you have any appropriate equipment? Then are personnel competent to operate the equipment? Means what? The personnel which we have been appointed, which is able to operate that equipment or not? We should consider this question. And finally the cost. What is the cost of reagent? What is the cost of reagent? We should consider cost of the reagents, equipment and personnels here. Then the next point is objectives of the assay. So the selection of a method depends largely on the objective of the measurement. For example, methods used for rapid online processing measurements may be less accurate than the official methods, which is used for nutritional labeling purposes. Then, the methods referred to as a reference, definitive, official, or primary are most applicable in a well equipped and staffed analytical lab. The more rapid, secondary, or field methods may be more applicable on the manufacturing floor in the food processing facility. For example, the refractive index may be used as a rapid secondary method for sugar analysis with results correlated to those of primary method, high performance liquid chromatography. Then the next topic is consideration of food composition. So how we have to consider the food composition? So in the proximate analysis of foods refers to the determining the major components of the moisture, ash, lipids, protein and carbohydrates. The performance of analytical methods is affected by the food matrix, that is its major chemical components, especially lipid, protein and carbohydrates. In food analysis, it is usually the food matrix that presents the greatest challenge to the analyst. For example, high fat or high sugar foods can cause different types of interferences than the low fat or low sugar foods. Another example is using matrix dependent method. One method might be applied to potato chips and chocolates, both of which are low protein, medium fat, medium carbohydrate foods. But another might be required for high protein, low fat and high carbohydrate foods such as non-fat dry milk. Then the next topic is validity of the method. So numerous factors affect the usefulness and validity of the data obtained using a specific analytical method. One must consider certain characteristics of any method such as a specificity, precision, accuracy and sensitivity. One must consider the nature of the samples collected for the analysis, how representative the sample were of the whole and number of samples analyzed. One must ask whether details of the analytical procedure were followed adequately such that the results are accurate, repeatable and comparable to the data collected previously. For data to be valid, equipment to conduct the analysis must be standardized and appropriately used, and the performance limitations of the equipments must be recognized. Then the validity of the method is governed by some organizations by providing some standard materials to check the sample. So for analyzing or check the sample concurrently with test sample is an important part of quality control. So the standard reference material can be obtained in USA from National Institute of Standards and Technology and from US Pharmacopoeia. In Canada, from Center for Land and Biological Research. In Europe, from the Institute of Reference Material and Measurements, and in Belgium, from Community Bureau of Reference. Then the next topic is official methods. So the choice of method for a specific characteristics of components of a food sample is often made easier by the availability of official methods. Several non-profit scientific organizations have compiled and published these methods of analysis for food products, which have been carefully developed and standardized. They allow for the comparability of results between different laboratories that follow the same procedure and for evaluating results obtained using new or more rapid procedures. So the official method, that is AOAC International. It is the Association of Official Agricultural Chemists, which is began in 1884 to serve the analytical methods needs of government regulatory and research agencies. The goal of AOAC International is to provide methods that will be fit for their intended purposes, that is, will perform with the necessary accuracy and precision under usual laboratory conditions. This volunteer organization functions as follows. First one, methods of analysis from published literature are selected or new methods are developed by AOAC International volunteers. Second, the methods are collaboratively tested using multi-laboratory studies in volunteers' laboratory. Then third, the methods are given a multi-level peer review by expert scientists, and if found acceptable, they are adopted as official method of analysis. Adopted methods are published in the official methods of analysis, which covers a wide variety of assays related to the food, drugs, cosmetics, agriculture, forensic science, and products affecting public health and welfare. AOAC International publishes manuals, methods, compilations in specific areas of analysis, monographs, and monthly magazine Inside Laboratory Management. AOAC International conducts training courses of interest to analytical scientists and other laboratory personnel. Second is the other endorsed methods. Beyond official methods, there are other endorsed methods are there which will govern for or which will helpful in analyzing the food samples. So the AACC, that is American Association of Cereal Chemists, AACC International publishes a set of approved laboratory methods applicable mostly to cereal products, for example, baking, quality, gluten, physical test, staleness, texture. The AACC international process of adopting the approved methods of analysis is consistent with process used by the AOAC International and AOCS. AOCS, it is nothing but the American Oil Chemists Society. Approved methods of AACC International are continuously reviewed, critiqued, and updated and are available online. The AOCS publishes a set of official methods and recommended practices applicable mostly to fat and oil analysis, for example, vegetable oil, glycerin, lecithin. AOCS is widely used methodology source on the subjects of edible fats and oils, oilseeds and oilseed proteins, soap and synthetic detergent, industrial fat and oils, fatty acids, glycerin and lecithin. Okay, so this is all about the chapter 1. Thank you.